Architecture Landscape number 2. Good morning, afternoon, evening, good evening after everyone, according to your locations. Welcome to this online session on Heritage and Cultural Landscape number 2, with a focus on tourism management perspectives. My name is Aida Mohammed Jiroshi, and I'm honored to be your session chair today. Our session moderator is Dr. Ologbi Megapol Agabola, and we have Dr. Nia, of course. You are all welcome. And before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude to the esteemed ICCAUA 24 Conference Board led by Dr. Horkash Ahmed Nia, as well as the Department of Architecture at the esteemed University of Alanya in Turkey for their diligence and hard work in organizing this annual meeting. We have an exciting lineup of presentations that will explore important topics related to the mentioned themes of this session. Our distinguished speakers are offering notable presentations, and they will be sharing their latest research and insights with us. Here's an overview of our session structure. We will be watching 6 presentations in this session. Each presentation recording will last approximately 10 minutes. Following finishing all the presentations, we will have 10 minutes for questions and answers session. Please type your questions in the chat box or use the raise hand feature, and I will moderate the discussion. We aim to keep the session interactive, so your participation is highly encouraged. A few other quick notes. First, please ensure your microphones are muted during the presentations to avoid background noise. If you experience any technical issues, please use the chat function to reach out to the technical support team. And also, we recommend using a headset for better audio quality and closing unnecessary applications to ensure a stable internet connection. So now let us begin with our first presentation, assessing the impacts of sanction on Iran tourism zone using the multi-criteria decision-making methods. I'll share my screen and hopefully it works. Okay, I'll disable participant screen. I need the host to enable me to share my screen. Okay, thank you. So, was it clear? Do you see the...
Hello, I am Abir Sinur, the first year PhD scholar. Under supervision, Dr. Kumar Abhishek, and we are from Department of Architecture, Planning and Design, IIT BHU, Varanasi in India. This is our topic for today. It's about sustainable tourism by promoting the popular culture Hammam as a tangible and intangible heritage. Case study, Damascus. See. This presentation consists of 5 points. We will start with introduction. Here, a brief introduction about the topic. We know that Hammam considered one of the features that distinguish of the Mediterranean country since Hellenistic era, but it turned into a culture after emergence of Islam. Mediterranean countries are characterized by cultural diversity due to their geographic location. Also, many studies have dealt with Hammam, but only from archaeological and architecture perspective. The research started from the gap in the relationship between hammam and tourism. Here we will talk about the tourism in the human theme that combined the economic characteristics of heritage and harnessing them to renew heritage. Many countries have also begun to include the concept of sustainability as a synonym of tourism. Here we start from research questions. What the role did hammam play in the past? What are the characteristics of hammam that helped build community identity? What is the reality of this hammam today? Can hammam play its ancient role to renew and promote development, tourism, and revitalize the Syrian economy? Here we have the methodology. We start from literature review to identify the characteristics of hammam and classify them into tangible and intangible heritage. Then we will identify the reality of hammam in Syria through observation and review of literature and what happened in projects. Then recommendation to revive tourism in Syria, obtain indicators of sustainable tourism based on hammam. This Damascus map, and here we try to see the most important example for good practice through research prepared by Dr. Rola Abu Khater about Amuna, Hammam Amuna in Al-Qaiba neighborhood. After we analyzed this example, which was a project funded by the European Union and brought together researchers, residents, and archaeological officials. This project is considered successful for the following reason. This project is studying the tangible aspect of hammam, also the architecture aspect, and contacting the residents and identifying their needs and concerns. Also, training hammam manager and compatibility with modern services. The reality of hammam in the past. Hammam in the past in Damascus get famous in the 15th century. They were buildings attached to mosque and as essential element that integrated with the fabric and general context of the building. But what are Richard Who in the 19th century? So hammam suffered from demolition due to streets, converting a number of them into warehouses, and also bad social reputation. Also, in this time, a lot of places it appears to meeting to have fun between people. During the war, hammam were abandoned. After that, a number of local residents preferred hammam due to the water shortage in Damascus. Here, we try from literature review and from observation to identify the tangible character of hammam. So, this tangible characters was good distribution of heat in hammam section and taking into account the human skill. Also achieve privacy design. There are intangible heritage characters. It is hammam was for clean and for feel comfortable and also for listening to advice. A lot of people will go to hammam to listen to advices and also pre-wedding celebration. The most important thing that the professional of washing or scrubbing was passing from fathers to children. And also, hammam was the only place that allowed to a woman to visit it. Till now, in the previous slide, we presented how the design of hammam impacts to meet the social needs and well-being of people. So we can say that sustainable tourism has two dimensions, cultural dimension and economic dimension. The cultural dimension has factors that where the movement of people and saying heritage site and testing new cultural concepts. The economic dimension consists from achieve balance between relationship between visitors and tourism and also local residents. Also job opportunity and support handicrafts and improving the infrastructure in the country. Finally, we try in this research identifying the elements and factors that cover the relationship between tourism and hammam. We can achieve sustainable tourism depends on hammam. So the research recommended by increase the research about hammam and participation the local community in the decision making and also effective promotion for these places and increase the people awareness about restorative tourism. Thank you for listening this reference.
Thank you, Duda, for this presentation. I also would like to remind everyone to add questions to the chat feature or just raise hand when we get to a question and answer session. So our next presentation will be enhancing cultural tourism in Mazab Valley through digital tools, state of play and perspectives. I'll share my screen. I think we have, because we received a presentation late, it seems that it was, okay, let's go with this presentation and see. Excuse me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am glad to have the opportunity to present to you today our research entitled Enhancing Cultural Tourism in the Mazab Valley through digital tools, state of play, and perspective, presented to you by myself, Bushra Nolhuda, PhD candidate from the University of Blida in Algeria, and supervised by my director, Dr. Aid Saadi Mahmoud Hussein. Without further ado, here is the table of the content. Specific study. This presentation delves into the valorization strategies of Luxor heritage in the Mzab Valley. Our research is driven by the fundamental question: how extensively are digital resources utilized in the tourism and the cultural sectors within this region, and how can their increased use enhance service provision in cultural tourism? The Mzab Valley was recognized as National Heritage in 1971 and as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982. In 2005, safeguarded sector of the Mzab Valley was established under Law Number 198004, which categorized the Qsor, which are the vernacular for Javad villages in the Sahara of Algeria, as part of the safeguarded sector. This led to the creation of the Permanent Safeguarding Plan, PBS-VSS, which is currently undergoing approval. In regards to tourism, the Mzab Valley is envisioned by the SNAT, the National Territorial Development Plan, for the horizon of 2030 as part of the Southeast Tourist Attraction Pole, POT, to become a true symbolic image of the new Algerian destination, a sustainable, competitive, innovative, original, and high-quality tourist destination. In 2016, Ghardaia was also equipped with a National Tourism Development Master Plan for the Wilaya of Ghardaia, based on shared and concerted operational diagnosis with local stakeholders. This plan aimed to make Ghardaia a multi-phase destination by promoting thermal, adventure, and cultural tourism, thereby targeting a more diverse clientele. This plan is supposed to take into account the environmental and social fragility of the region to avoid falling into mass tourism. Moving to methodology, at the forefront of our investigation is local strategies for heritage promotion and cultural tourism. Therefore, the research used a qualitative method, conducting in-depth interviews with local stakeholders in cultural and tourism sectors of the Mzab Valley. Participants were selected purposefully based on their expertise. Interviews were held individually with 7 face-to-face sessions and 1 conducted over the phone for logistical reasons, each lasting between 35 minutes to 1 hour. Transcripts were manually translated to ensure accuracy, and the NVivo software was used for themes of heritage, tourism, and technology. Table 1 shows the list of stakeholders we have selected: professionals from public organizations such as the Directorate of Tourism, the Directorate of Culture, the OPVM, which stands for the Office for the Protection and Promotion of the Mzab Valley, and the National Tourism Office, as well as 3 associations, namely the Sheikh Abu Ishaq Ibrahim Association for Heritage, the Tourist Orientation Association of Ghardaia, and the Tourism and Development Office of Bniyaskin, the OTD. We have identified 7 themes in the description of cultural heritage tourism provided by stakeholders, namely promotion, technology, preservation, education, training, and professionalization, awareness, and social and religious values. The following concept map shows different interconnections between the 7 themes and the sub-themes. The map was generated according to occurrences of the themes and their relationship to each other, while the word-coded matrix shows the word count for each theme by different actor. Proceeding to data analysis, promotion is the first theme with the strongest connections and occurrences in the speeches. The Mzab Valley uses diverse strategies such as advertising, digital markets, and social media to attract visitors. Efforts focus on promoting, among other resources, the cultural assets as leading resources. With Qsor being the biggest attraction, the unique traditions and the artisanal products like traditional rug, which is very famous in Ghardaia. Online channel, documentaries, and educational games are employed by the OPBM to creatively market, engage with audiences, and preserve heritage. The director of the tourism emphasizes the economic importance of the cultural products for sustainability, describing tourism sector as purely consumer of the cultural products, and stressing its appeal to international clientele, while one respondent recommends prioritizing domestic tourism in the promotion strategies to strengthen local connection and the sense of belonging to this territory. The director of tourism qualifies the current efforts as sufficient in meeting current needs, while also pointing out the need for expertise in communication and information to effectively address new challenges. Technology is the second important theme. Respondents emphasize the importance of digitization and technology in their activities, particularly online, indicating a growing recognition of their value for visibility and outreach. All respondents reported having websites and at least one social media account, showing widespread adoption of digital platforms, especially for service presentation and audience engagement. However, while cultural and tourism information is available online, actual service booking often still rely on traditional methods, reflecting a challenge in balancing digitization with traditional engagement. Maria, the Director of Tourism, stresses the need for collective acknowledgement and stakeholders' engagement for a comprehensive digital strategy. Despite its current non-functionality, the Geographical Information System is a most anticipated tool for decision makers in the Mzab Valley, with authorities expressing a need for additional technological support for its adoption. Moving to preservation. Preservation in the Mzab Valley is a significant challenge, with respondents highlighting efforts by the OPVM and local associations. Association collaborates closely with the OPVM and the Ministry of Culture, contributing their own resources and expertise to restoration projects. Despite continuous efforts, neglecting and urbanization pose threats to heritage integrity. Some resources like archaeological engravings are reported to be underrepresented. Interviewees stress the importance of preserving what remains and urge approval of the PPS and VSS for effective heritage protection. Moving to education, the majority of respondents recognize the OPVM as key educational institution actively involved in imparting knowledge about the cultural wealth of the Mzab Valley and offering training opportunities. This involvement encompasses mentoring and hosting students, researchers, or visitors at various sites and monuments, along with initiating educational and communicational efforts aimed at enhancing public awareness. According to the Director of Tourism, the tourism sector has a responsibility to provide educational value alongside leisure and entertainment. He emphasizes the importance of cultural tourism in Cambodia and Algeria's historical and civilizational dimension, highlighting operators' role in offering educational visits to students. Another theme that emerged is training and specialization. Stakeholders in cultural tourism face challenges to limit resources and expertise. Respondents stress the need for improving sector-specific training and digital skills. Local associations play a vital role in preserving and developing tourism. However, focusing on responsible practices, these associations recognize the need for further training of their guides. Specialized education is crucial for heritage interpretation, communication, marketing, visitor management, and sustainable practices. Bridging the technology gap is also essential, with a consensus on the necessity of specialized training in this area. Awareness. Raising public awareness is vital for cultural heritage tourism promotion. When tourists and communities understand the heritage, it positively influences their attitude and behavior, aiding in site preservation. Participants emphasize the challenges of controlling and preserving heritage while promoting awareness. Education fosters a deeper appreciation of cultural heritage. By educating visitors, they can support local economy and preserve traditions. For instance, informing tourists about the cultural significance of artisanal products encourages mindful consumption and sustained craftsmanship in the region. Finally, social and religious values were combined because of their intertwined nature in the Mzab community. These values hold a prominent place, enjoying collective recognition and legitimacy. Two interviewees explained that the association's efforts to communicate these values to tourists enhance the destination's appeal. According to them, the Mzab represents a balanced system characterized by collective thinking and solidarity, due mainly to their religion, which tourists, especially foreigners, appreciate. By recognizing and incorporating these values into presentation and interpretation interpretation of cultural heritage, more authentic and mindful experiences are created. In conclusion, this study have identified seven themes related to the cultural heritage tourism in the Mzab Valley, provided by the 8 experts, namely promotion, technology, preservation, education, training, professionalization, awareness, and social and religious values. Results have shown cultural tourism holds significant implications in the Mzab Valley. The effective integration of ICTs in the sector can enhance the social and economic value of heritage, benefiting various stakeholders. Regarding technological implications, several participants noted that the existing policies are insufficient for sustainable development of heritage, and digital tools allow for the promotion and protection of heritage from new perspectives, reaching new audiences. However, almost all interviews highlighted the technological challenges related to adoption and expertise, emphasizing that the need for technical support and the development of specialized digital services. Cost is also identified as a barrier for both public and private institutions. Public and private operators primarily use the web for promotional purposes, offering general information on destination services. However, the availability of relevant online application and the capacity to produce original content are underdeveloped. The Mzab Valley can therefore be considered as medium-level digital access destination. Innovative channels such as IoT, transmedia, mobile application, and immersive technologies are also underdeveloped to non-existent. Finally, every research has constraints and limits. Here are ours. First, the restriction of interview numbers due to some participants declining the participation. Second, the language and translation challenges. Third, the perceived bias in some interviews, with participants avoiding questions on Algerian policies. And finally, acknowledgement of potential bias from interviews speaking on behalf of all community. I'll leave you with the references used in this study, and thank you for your attention.
Please, we kindly request Amal Atziya to mute.
We apologize for the confusion. So also there was like gray spots on the screen. I don't know what's the reason. So we'll check with the next video or presentation and we will see. Otherwise, we need to interfere in this and do something. So
if I may, Doctor, if I may, I just checked the video on YouTube. There are no interferences. So I think it is the problem is within the Zoom call.
Yeah, I apologize. It's out of my control. So, but we will check the next video. Hopefully, it will be better. And if you are the owner of the presentation, I apologize to you. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. So we need to. Okay, let's go with the. Yes. We need to share our next. So our next presentation is perceptions of urban tourism in historic areas. Muharrak has a case study, and I will share my screen.
At the University of Bahrain, and PhD candidate in architecture program. This research was part of one of the courses in the program with Professor Islam Al-Ghanimi under the title Perceptions of Urban Tourism in Historic Areas, Muharraq as a Case Study. Local authorities acknowledge its financial significance of tourism in enhancing local economy. According to the World Tourism Barometer, the global economy is estimated to grow 2% in 2024, above 2019 levels. The Middle East is the only region to overcome pre-pandemic levels, with arrivals 22% above 2019. With this growth of urban tourism, urban destinations are heavily impacted by tourism, which forces them to evolve and ultimately lose their authenticity. The growth of the tourism industry can have both positive and negative effects on the community. Recent studies show that there is a lack of examining the connections between locals' perceptions of the effects of the tourism and their sense of community satisfaction. The research here aims at understanding the perception of residents towards city tourism, its impact, and the most adequate strategies to manage growing tourism flows in cities. We are trying to find answers to these two questions. What views do locals have about how tourism affects their community? And how could residents' perceptions and insights affect the development of sustainable urban tourism? Urban tourism has advantages such as providing more local goods, population growth, and raising living standards, enhancing or improving infrastructure such as roads, power plants, and electricity, improving environment, as well as forming a reputation that is needed to attract businesses. While on the other hand, when the needs of the residents and visitors collide, cities face differing demands for services and amenities. Increasing numbers of tourists may interrupt or disturb the harmony between various stakeholders and lower cities' living standards. The problem with the sustainable urban tourism are so significant that are necessitating a drastic change or revolution. Here comes the idea of sustainable tourism from growing concerns about the effect of tourism on travel destinations and their citizens. Urban tourism can be a major factor in advancing the new urban agenda and the 17th Sustainable Development Goal, especially goal number 11, which is related to making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. A city's ability to grow and offer its citizens and visitors enhanced and improved living circumstances is fundamentally linked to its tourism industry. Bahrain, as a small country of around 771 square kilometers with 51 islands, it is blessed with a multitude of unique geographical features. Traditional customs and historical landmarks coexist with contemporary advancement and cosmopolitan life. Due to the pandemic, international arrivals fell to 1.9 million in 2020, which is an 83% decrease due to the pandemic. However, in the first half of 2023, Bahrain received 55.9 million tourists, which is a 51% increase, according to the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibition Authority. This growth in the industry opened doors for focusing more on the cultural tourism and selecting Muharraq as a cultural tourism destination city in Bahrain. Muharraq is the third largest city of Bahrain, which is located in the southwest part of the northern island. It is known for its cultural contributions due to the restored traditional Bahraini homes that is seen everywhere in the city. It holds the finest examples of traditional Gulf urbanizations due to its unique organic form and architecture that can be seen in the homes, mosque, and trading facilities. The Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities is working with all relevant official entities to highlight the historical and significance of a city's rich, tangible, and intangible urban and cultural heritage through various urban renewal initiatives, such as the Pearl Path project, which were implemented throughout the city of Muharraq. This project's goal is to provide community and cultural venues, enhance the city's environment, and draw local Bahraini families to the area. Another important point that will affect the urban tourism, which is the public participation. The success of the tourism sector depends on the cooperation of the locals, who must be amicable and welcoming to visitors and refrain from opposing tourism-related initiatives in their neighborhoods. Tourism planners should take into consideration the locals' worries and concerns and regarding the effect of the tourism. Perceptions, whether they are good or bad, they influence the growth of the tourism. In addition, the empowered locals are more inclined to take advantage of tourism's potentials, economic, psychological, social, or political benefits, as well as to engage in it and be part of it. For this research, a qualitative method is followed by using questionnaires that are targeting residents and visitors, and interviews which are targeting participants from the relevant authorities, including Bahrain Tourism and Exhibition Authority, Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities, and Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is a sample of the questions used in the questionnaire. While these are the 10 questions that were addressed to the interviewees, which is categorized into 5 categories: perception, demand, resources, awareness, and planning strategies. Aside from the data we collected from the demographics of the participants, the second part of the questionnaire shows the recommendations of the participants on how to enhance the cultural tourism in Muharraq. 85.5% strongly agree that the area requires enhancing the parking lots and pedestrian pathways, while 74.7% see the importance of applying policies and regulation to improve tourism in the city. Others, they recommended fostering social interactions through cultural activities and events. The third part of the questionnaire shows the opinions of respondents for different statements that are given to them. It shows that they are well aware of the advantages of the urban tourism, while there is also a big percentage of the participants that they are concerned about the tourists that cause inconvenience to the residents and disturb the tranquility of the resident area in Muharraq. Gathering all of these insights and findings from the questionnaire and the interviews, fishbone diagram was constructed showing or identifying the factors that will be affecting the development of cultural tourism, with 6 main factors that are tourism policy and planning strategies, perceptions, demand, awareness, resources, and marketing strategies. To conclude, in order to ensure sustainable tourism development in line with the goals and objectives of the country in this field, it is important to value the ideas and concerns of the and perspectives of the residents, no matter on matters related to tourism in their city, to create a harmony between the different stakeholders' demands. The findings in this research highlighted some critical factors affecting the sustainability of cultural tourism development in Muharraq, and should be taken into consideration in the planning strategy toward the sustainable urban tourism. This study was exploratory in examining residents' perception of tourism in an urban community. And of course, more participants' feedback and insight can help with the generalization of the findings, as well as more interviews with experts in the field can add valuable insights to the study. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for this informative presentation. Our next presentation is will be balancing heritage conservation and tourism, a case study of Hambi. Okay.
My name is Sanjay Vike, MRP student, IIT Roorkee, India. My topic is balancing heritage conservation and tourism, a case study of Hampi. So these are the contents. Hampi is recently news that it has a illegal resorts were removed and tourists were suffering from lack of adequate infrastructure facilities. Also, there are several vandalisms also came to frame, and also there are several up down of the tourist footfall also seen. So this makes me to my study that my study aims to conduct a comprehensive study of Hampi's heritage conservation and tourism. So here the methodology includes understanding of historical and cultural significance of Hampi, heritage protection laws and institutional structure and problems related to conservation, assessment of tourist challenges and available facilities, and understanding of local challenges. And finally, making it to broad recommendations. So Hampi is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and it's located in southern part of India, Karnataka state and Vijayanagara district. It's home to 1,600 monuments, more than 1,600 monuments, some 5 historical and hundreds of kilometers of fortifications and historic pathways. So it is also mentioned in the Hindu mythology that it's a Pompak, it is also called as Pompak Kshetra and Kishinda, and also the Anjanadri hill in Hampi is believed to be birthplace of Hanuman. So Vijayanagara Empire was established in 1336 AD. So it was Vijayanagara, this is the capital of Vijayanagara Empire, and this is also called as Vijayanagara city. So this is a great example of architecture and urban planning. So it's not only a political and economic force, but also a cultural center. So whoever travelers visited the Vijayanagara during that time, they believe that it's one of the largest cities in the world and one of the richest. So in 1565, Talikota of Vijayanagara lost the battle of Talikota, and the Sultanates attacked Hampi and destroyed the city. UNESCO, it was first inscribed as a Hampi group of monuments in 1986. So initially it has 14 monuments. So later on 15 monuments were included. So in 1988, Karnataka state have specified some areas as a protected area, and due to unplanned developments in 1998, it has been included in the endangered list. Later on, in 2002, Hampi World Heritage Area Management Authority was made, and protected area is taken as a core zone of this authority. So these are the institutional structures like Archaeological Survey of India, State Archaeology, Tourism Development, Hampi World Heritage Area Management Authority. So Archaeological Survey of India focuses on preservation and conservation of monuments all over India, and State Archaeology is similar work, but it's under the state government. And tourism development focus on tourism development focus on tourism development, and Havama Hampi World Heritage Area Management Authority works closely with these government bodies and make plans and all. So this is the master plan. So this is the core zone which are directly taken, and buffer zone and peripheral zone for regulations and rules and regulations are based on this. So this is the connectivity. It's Hampi is just 10 kilometers away from the hospital, and it's well connected by the road and rail, and also there is a domestic airport, Jindal Vidyanagar Airport, is just 30 kilometers away from the Hampi. So there are four in core zone. There are four major settlements that are Hampi, Kadirampura, Kamalapura, and Ranegundi. Kamalapura is a town which is with a population of 25,552, and Hampi is with a population of 2,777. Uh, and Amsar Act was implemented in 1958. In 2000, which focused on the prevention and protection of ancient monuments. In 2010, and it has been it was amended, and it has said that it was made that 100 meters radius around the protected area or a monument should be declared as a prohibited area, and next 200 meters radius were declared as a regulated area. So if there is any alteration or reconstruction are there, they have to take a NMS approval. So these are the major monuments: Virupaksha Temple, Royal Royal Sentinel, and these are Vijayawada Temple with so other monuments issues could be like there are there are more number of monuments, so they are often go unnoticed. So there because of lack of management, maintenance, and absence of description boards, and also signboards, lack of signboards. So also there are lack of garbage facilities, development of cracks due to vibration are seen. Also names were written in the monuments, and farming activities also being done in some of the monument nearby some of the monuments, and blackening of the roofs were also seen. So these are the excavation works. These are also currently also going on there. So renovation, restoration, structural support. So this is a tourist current tourist tickets count like totally on average the total visitors was said at 5,000 visitors daily, so it can go to 10,000 during peak days, and it can come down to 1,000 during summers. So the peak day times were said as peak months are December and January, because it's a winter time where in the other time it would be too hot. So annual growth also seen as that as a little bit growth can be seen here. So this is the revenue from the ticketed monuments, and there are it's normally fluctuates around 4 crore. So these are there are three places where the tickets are taken. I had taken surveys of 154 tourists and 52 locals. So locals were said that they have lack of recognition, like they don't see as a stakeholder, also don't take their opinion during decision making, and also there is heavy restrictions. So in hence making their which are hampering their socio-economic status, and also they feel that they have lack of facilities like banks and all. So even there are also seen that children are reportedly engaging in commercial activities. So because of that, their education been hampered. So as per 2011 census, the literacy of Hampi village is 64.82%, which is lower than the national average. So the local businesses also they feel that being neglected, and giving tenders have been making their uh, tenders have displaced their selling spots. So this is the Hampi village assessment today. These are the problems of tourists. Like they normally have a basic facilities problem: drinking water facility, toilet facility, uh, public transport facility. So these are the parking problems, drinking water facility problems in the picture. And there is only 1 kilometer electric vehicle facility available for from parking area to Vijayawada temple, and also there is no separate pedestrian facility which making a dust pollution. So important satisfaction one analysis was done here based on the suggested approach from Indian Ministry of Tourism Development. So this is similar to the importance performance analysis which is introduced by Martilla and James. So here we'll see which it helps in prioritizing the which can be prioritized. So here, which has a high importance and lower satisfaction should be prioritized. Here, public in this the importance and satisfaction are rated to 10, and then here we got a public restroom, drinking water facility, garbage disposal, mass transit system, public information centers, restaurants, cleanliness are need to be major focus for based on this analysis. So, and also there is a need to see the medical and banking facilities which are less satisfied, and also which are higher satisfaction should be continued to be investment and maintaining these areas. So also there is need of regular feedback assessment. Also, if we see sustainable development initiatives should be taken, like implementing eco-friendly practices like solar powered communities and all, and promoting the use of electric vehicle and community involvement and empowerment. Like engaging the local community is very important for tourism development, and also developing community-based tourism projects. Uh, Under the cultural heritage conservation, like prioritizing the conservation of cultural heritage, uh, enforce strict regulations for unauthorized construction and also developing promoting a guide cultural tours and educate the tourists on historical and cultural values of Hampi. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to mention that we are missing the recording from Dr. Shahrazad Mugaddam. Is she available? And also Professor Rakshana. We don't know what to do with this. If there's any possibility to offer this for us, we can run it. Otherwise, we will go to the last but not least presentation, Urban Design Guidelines and Restructuring a Heritage Destination for Koshi case. So let me know if we can get the recording for the couple of authors that I just mentioned. Okay.
Manoj Kumar K. Project introduces Joseph and Project through this edition. We all are from Department of Architecture and Planning, College of Engineering, Trivandrum, Kerala. So I'm here to present my paper titled Urban Design Guidelines when Reconstructing a Heritage Destination for TÜRKİYE case. Heritage is our legacy from the past, what we live with today and what we pass on to the future generations. Our cultural and natural heritage are both irreplaceable sources of life and inspiration. Heritage tourism can be defined as traveling to experience the places, artifacts, and activities that authentically represent the stories and people of the past and present. Coming to the context of the study, heritage presence can be potential tourism destinations. When the density of tourism increases, it creates stress on existing infrastructure and demands a lot of open space, parking space, seating spaces, and the related utilities. This thrust many times affects the inherent morphology of heritage presence, and which is its unique selling point. So to prevent this, it's essential that urban design guidelines for heritage presence, or in other words, a guided urban development is important. The aim of the study is to devise urban design guidelines to address the problems associated with tourism on heritage presence of Fort Kochi, and the objectives are to identify the impact of tourism on historic destinations, to derive parameters to analyze the problems associated with heritage destinations, and finally to propose urban design guidelines for addressing the problems related to tourism in Fort Kochi. And these are the major limitations of the study. Then methodology starts with the formation of a research problem, hypothesis, theoretical study, literature review to derive the parameters, and with that parameters, the primary case study for Kochi is analyzed based on the parameters derived from the literature case study, and finally proposed urban design guidelines. So the literature case study selected are Venice to understand the global context, and two Indian cases are selected, which are Jaisalmer and Jaipur. Table shows the inferences from literature case studies, and the parameters obtained are physical, ecological, socio-cultural, infrastructure, and economic. So the subparameters for physical are built form, built use, built character, built intensity, built ownership, imageability, and street lights, and comfort stations. For economic, livelihood, and employment are the sub-parameters. Coming to the case study, Fort Kochi. Fort Kochi is located in Kerala, the southern part of India, and Fort Kochi draws the greatest proportion of both domestic and foreign visitors and is known for its heritage landscape of trade and colonial history. One of the most cosmopolitan neighborhoods of the city, comprising mostly of middle-income communities. The neighborhood has low-rise, high-density fabric with several heritage narratives or places within it, and the site for the study is delineated based on the maximum concentration of built heritage. These are the glimpses of cultural as well as built heritage present in Fort Kochi. Newspaper report showing how tourism impacted on different aspects of Fort Kochi. First parameter is physical, built form. The built form of Fort Kochi can be categorized into three different typologies: bungalow form, street form, large court form. The various forms generate different spatial character in the public areas. Built use. Many residential properties and warehouses in Kochi has been transformed into hotels and venues for Kochi Muslims Binale. Built character. Based on built character, the site can be categorized into three different zones. Zone A comprises of 16th to 19th century buildings, the roofs with high gradient and tiled roofs, and Zone B comprises of 19th to 20th century buildings, tiled roofs as well as flat roofs can be seen in this area, and Zone C comprises of buildings of 1980 to present, and medium and high density residential structures can be found here. So illegal renovation of heritage structures, old tiled roof buildings are replaced with metal roofing sheets and all. Building density. High density mixed use development can be seen in the study area. Imageability. Billboards and posters generating visual pollution to the heritage destination can be seen in the figure. Next parameter is ecological. Kochi Carnival is one of the most visited festival in Kerala to celebrate New Year as well as Christmas. The major problem faced is overcrowding and lack of management. The available open space in the study area is mapped in the figure. Then waste management. The surge in tourist numbers, especially during festive seasons, led to significant increase in waste generation. Social equity. People who are the original residents are either forced to move to other locations or change their uses to commercial purposes. Population density. Kochi is one of the regions with high population density. Increase in population can be seen. Identity and authenticity. Local food culture is changing to global menu. Also, heritage sites and buildings are being overtaken by urban expansion. This causes the losing of their original identity. Also, the performing arts sector, traditional industries are underutilized in this area. Festivals and events. As mentioned earlier, Kochi Carnival is causing overcrowding as well as poor management. Then livelihood. The economic benefits of luxury tourists do not filter down to the community. Then infrastructure. Most of the tourism infrastructure is encroached by street vendors, inadequate public toilets. Kochi bus stand lacks proper street lights. The guidelines proposed are: first parameter is physical, built use and built form.